most squeakiest clean person that you think and believe of in the world. And if somebody wants to have a problem with you, they're going to have a problem, and they're going to make sure that they do everything to let everybody else know that they've got a problem with you. I'm going to put it on record. I'm in talks with Skylar May's representatives. Fuck it. Okay. Here. You want to jump?
Breaking news. Let's do it.
Breaking news. Okay. So a good friend of mine here, Mr. Steve, is from New York. I'll share more later about it, but I don't want to put too much because it's not necessary. But
yeah,
I got a call from this person while I was living in Vegas at the time. He moved to Vegas. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing here? This isn't the place for you. I don't care that you're doing DJs and stuff like that. Vegas is its own beast. Every city has its own trademark and landmark way of doing things. And this is not a city of people. This isn't the city of dreams. I'm putting it on record. New York, I don't care. I'm claiming it. I'm putting it out there. New York is the real angels, city of angels.
Mm-hmm.
LA is Sin City. That's where all the porn is done. Okay.
All the stuff.
All the porn, all the fucking fuckery that's fucking around is LA. LA is Sin City.
I live there. I know.
Yeah. And Las Vegas is the Big Apple. They got it all wrong. Las Vegas is the Big Apple. That's how I consider it. That's what I believe. That's what I know for a fact because I lived in all three cities. And so with that being said, Steve came out to Vegas, gave me a call, and asked me if I could sit down with him and have a conversation. I thought, I love a good conversation. Let's have a good conversation over coffee right now. Starbucks, just like I got up in here, Starbucks.
Duncan.
Oh, we met at the casino at the Starbucks. Love the vibe. I love having conversations over at a place, a pub or something in a casino. Just loving the energy, especially being such an introvert and an empath. I just love the feeling of it. Just adds extra volume to the occasion.
Yeah.
And we're talking. I said, so what brings you here? Why are you here? Why did you choose Vegas? And I said, listen, here's what you're going to look for. He also has a talent management company. So he does DJing and talent management and all stuff. Very, very good. Very successful. And knows a lot of people. So we had about an hour talk. Then one of the workers came over and then I had her come in for the conversation. I was like, what's your opinion of Vegas? This is what he does. What do you think? What is your thoughts? Just to give him a little bit of a perspective that this is not New York and it's not LA. But Vegas is not a place to go to say, I'm going to come to Vegas to build my dreams. Good luck trying to prove me wrong on that. And if you do, I want to see the New York Times. I want to see the Wall Street Journal. I want to see this success story in these things. Vanity Fair. And unless I see it, I don't believe it. It's never going to happen. Vegas is not that place. And so here we are. He's been there over a year. I would say, let me get this correct. No, he was there about a year and a half. And all of a sudden, I get a phone call from him. You're going to love this. I get a phone call from him about 2 months. Was it 2 months ago? So I'm here in Jersey. I would say about a month and a half ago. And he said, Steven, this is what I'm doing. He said, I still got my DJing gig. I still do DJing whenever I want. But this is what I've done with my management company. And now I've taken on OnlyFans content creators. And he said, I'm looking to work with This one talent. Now, keep in mind, it's on record. I mean, they're going to be filming in Arizona. What, Monday? They're going to be creating content with Skylar. So he's like, so they're putting everything together with Skylar May. You can Google Yahoo Binger to find out who she is. She looks like Marsha Brady. That's what I said, this is what I love about her. I said, anything that looks mainstream. I mean, look, consider the actress who played Marsha Brady in the Brady Bunch film, but she also gave that Marsha Brady vibe and image when she was in The Craft. I don't have her name off the top of my head, but if you watch the original movie, The Craft, you will know who I'm talking about, because she's a duplicate to Marsha Brady. And I said, holy shit, she looks like Marsha Brady. I said, this is perfect. Her content's not too out of control. She looks like someone from the mainstream industry. Change up her hair a bit, play around with the clothes. I was like, this is great. So I went and did my PR thing and gave my advisement what needed to happen. To bring it all and sum it up all together, I asked, how many other PR agents have you been talking to? He said, you were the first one, the first and only one I wanted to reach out to this, because he says how we're planning on going with this business. He says, we're going to need a publicist, and there's a certain type of publicist we want. But I said, why did you pick me? He said, Steven, because you're the only one that sat down with me and gave me the time of day to talk to me to help me with my career. He said, I've spoken to managers and other people before, and no one sat down with me as long as you had sat down with me and gave me the time and met with me and gave me the time to talk to me. That's what he said verbatim. So now we just got off the phone today. He called me up to give me a follow-up to let me know where the contract and everything is at. And I said, once it's official. And once I have my interview, because I assess everybody, but how I stand right now is, if Skylar chooses that she wants me to work with her and represent her, and we get all the details laid out, yes. Because she is the Marsha Brady of OnlyFans. And there's a lot of things in the mainstream world that's already being set up for her. So to bring you up to speed, that's everything that's going on here. On top of the fact that I am also got hired to be a supporting actor for a film. We can talk about that later once the contract's signed and more details are happening. So if that happens, I'll be in San Francisco it's going to happen. It's a 2-day shoot between October and November this year. And then another film director producer I spoke to wants me to be one of the leads for another film.
Ooh. So
everything is panning out. But as I always say, I tend to do more things in my life 99.9% of the time that I don't want to do or never plan on doing, and it ends up turning out to be the best. So for you and anyone that's like you or me, it's going to be very difficult to not watch the clock. It's going to be difficult to not watch the days and the months and the years go by and wonder, when is it my turn to step on stage and to feel like an A-list star? Just keep doing what you're doing, because I'm going to tell you everything that's happening in my life now. I was not ready for 6 months ago. I was not ready for last year. And it took me being 50 and then 51 years old to feel safe and confident enough in myself and to go out there, Percy, in the world, to not want to run away from it real quick, to feel like I've got purpose.
Amen.
Because every time I went out there, I felt like I couldn't fit in anywhere.
That's wonderfully said. That's incredible. And, like you said, this industry is, you look at Jonathan Majors, look at him, and you go from being one of the top actors of today, no publicist no more, no manager, no agent. And he's doing his bounce back, but we're seeing the evolution of the industry and how people are going about it before. And I was talking off camera about this before we went live. It's like 10, 20 years ago. The To get a Will Smith, to get a Denzel, to get some of these A-listers, you had to be a late night talk show host. You had to be, someone of importance. Now we're seeing YouTubers, we're seeing podcasters, we're seeing people with their own independent shows getting these type of guests on these
It's
type of
status.
caliber guests.
It's status. Trust me. Trust me. I don't want to say this. I don't feel this for you. I want you to stay in the lane that you're in. But for
Yeah,
someone like me, I'm at a point to where I truly believe, and I want to put this on record and just make it very clear. I don't recommend this for anybody, but I've done all the polished, wonderful things for over 30 years. Okay. I did all the Mary Poppins things, and I did it because I wanted to. I enjoyed it. But I've come to realize, and this is what's exciting, and look at this even for you and even in your new direction with your new representatives and such. There are times when you may have to step outside of an identity and persona, even no matter how real and authentic it is, to step outside of it to find out where else can you be. And I'm not being religious when I say this. I am not using this as an excuse, but all I have to say is this, and I'm saying this with all my heart. God has put me in rooms I did not belong in, but I was an instrument and a testimony in those rooms. And the thing of it is too, and here's the real deal. Who I was at the time when I walked in that room, I was still the same person when I walked out. Once again, rooms I should have never been allowed into because because of the darkness and the deception and the fraud and the fakeness and the wannabiness. People I would never fucking sit down with and have a cup of coffee with. But once you break, what I enjoy is those are the people that I tend to do well with, the ones that like to be fake, the ones that try to put on an air, because I know how to disarm them to find out who they really are.
yeah,
And they know I'm not going to be a threat or confrontational or or a disadvantage to them because I have no hidden agenda. But just like with Jesus and other people in this world, they were always put in the places they should have never been, but in the most darkest places. But there are times you will never be able to see what is real if a person of light and substance is not placed in there. So the rooms I should have never been in where there was just so much darkness, I was happy to be that light to walk in. And I was that light when I walked out. And sometimes I shined even brighter because I got to see the evil behind those doors and made me feel so much better that could have been a path that I could have gone down if I wanted to be weak or desperate, and I didn't. But I don't judge these people for it. Do I still have an issue with these wannabe these so-called straight guys that like to pretend to be gay? Yes, I do. I may always have a problem with that because it will always live in me.
right.
The fact that no one will ever understand that there were times to where the violence that was portrayed to me, I could have been dead, literally, even by the hand of my stepfather. So I'm here because of God. I'm here because of a miracle, seriously, and because of certain people of light and goodness that have been brought in my life, just like you, Percy.
Yeah,
And that's why I will always shed light on things, because if one day, let's say I work with Skylar May or I end up working with an OnlyFans person, and we kind of, oh, yeah. Because I want to do it and because I know, if anything, I'd rather be the person that chooses to do it, Percy, knowing that I'm going to be the best role model and the best advocate for them and not exploit them. because I work in an industry that I can't help a Justin Bieber because no one is letting me. I can't help a Britney Spears because I don't have access to. So the people that are going to, I even wanted to work with Liam Payne. That was not made possible. So I'm not here trying to save everyone. But eventually, you would think after 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
you get done with reading this person killed himself. This person died of a drug overdose. This person died of a suicide. This person died of this. This person died of that. Like I'm thinking, I keep telling God, if I'm going to end up still being in this industry, can I at least help someone so that somebody doesn't end up fucking dead?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's sad and it's unfortunate to see all the people like Justin Bieber. I was just having this conversation. People were
Have you
making
been
fun of
seeing that
him.
stuff lately?
Yeah. And I don't want to get too deep
No, we're
into it
not going
because
there deep.
no,
Yeah, no,
no.
no.
But I do think that people they don't understand that someone like him, he's been through a lot of stuff. And on the outside looking in, when you're rich and you're famous and you're just an average worker living paycheck to paycheck, they look at someone like a Justin and say, "Hey, you got everything you want, everything I wish I want. You have everything most people wish they want. What are you complaining about? What is wrong with your life?" Little do they know, like you said, you've been in this industry for 30 something years, 30 plus years. You've had a past. We all have a past. And I think sometimes when people get to certain status, people forget they're a human being too. Money doesn't cover every. Look at Robert Williams. He was one of the
Mm.
most
Yeah.
talented people in the industry. Him, so many names that I can't even, it's so many names to even think about, because people often associate with success with why are you complaining? Yeah, you're where would you I want to be. Why are you upset? And like I said, we don't have to go down that rabbit hole, but I'm praying for Justin. I think that this is the time where people need to stop using social media. This goes back to what you're talking about. People using social media to go viral, to make clips about him and poke fun of him, make fun of him about his situation, opposed to being there to support him. The same people that was there when he was a teenager are turning their backs on him now. And we could go down that rabbit hole. But Steven, we've been talking about a lot of stuff. We've been talking about a lot of stuff. Before we go, I have a
Wait,
new
you didn't
segment
talk
on the
about you
show.
and bring me up to speed.
Oh, I'll do that. So
This is what I love about your show. I feel
circle.
so comfortable that I just love to
Yeah,
share. And I
I
give
love it.
you and talk with you about conversations I don't have with other people. And I like having it openly like this because I feel safe too. But go ahead.
Yeah. And real quick before I tell my story, I used to have these tough conversations, especially during the pandemic. When I started this podcast, I was talking about George Floyd, racism, police brutality, racism in Hollywood. I used to talk about all of it. And it got to the point where I remember this had to have been right before I rebranded the podcast, where I had a comment on someone DM'd me on Instagram and he was like, "Hey, is your agent blah blah blah." Well, I'm not with them anymore, but just for safekeeping. Is this your agent? I'm like, yeah, yeah. He was like, "Hey, I watched the show. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go message your agent and let him know you're talking about certain things that I don't like. I'm gonna try to get you fired." And I've learned from that point, unfortunately, and this goes back to the first episode when I asked you about why do celebrities avoid certain topics? Because unfortunately, and that's why I asked you, why are you doing this now? Because some people look at it as like, I want to speak my truth. I want to be able to talk, the way I want. So do I, and I have. But if you're not a Denzel and even a Will Smith, look what happened to him. People are still trying to cancel this man 3 years later from the Oscar slap. If Will Smith can go through that, what do you think I can go through? And I don't want to be in a situation 30 years from now saying, what if I just would have did this? And it's unfortunate that a lot of people are put in that box where it's like you want to be outspoken, you want to speak your truth and your piece, but there's a cost of doing business when you do that. And unless you have the finances to kind of sustain yourself, how can I risk uh speaking my truth? But anyway,
And just
what's
to
been going
just
on with me?
real lastly, and then I want to know, bring me up to speed if you want to, unless you want to have it off of this interview, is that is the only and the last step I've never taken in my career. That's why I said everything I've said on this episode. That's why I shared everything I've shared, because I've been politically correct long enough. I've
Yeah.
been, I've suppressed my emotions and how I feel and how I felt on the record and off the record, but at the cost of my health and well-being. And now I've just decided it's not about controversy. It's not about playing the game. This, to close this of who I am, and on this episode, this is who I am. This is who I am now. I will evolve. I will grow up even more and become more of a man. But this is who I am now. And this is what I feel. And I have learned that I could have been a lot more hostile, a lot more vulgar in this interview, a lot more judgmental. And I didn't use restraint, because when you use restraint, all you're doing is suppressing and harboring a problem that can turn to cancer, literal, or sickness or harm. But
Yeah.
now I've just come to realize that social media and people from all walks of life, from people from the Catholic faith, from religion, from politics, everybody is speaking their mind. And no matter how your tone or anything is, it seems to be okay. And I've been seeing a lot of abuse of power, even in my own industry and field. And I'm thinking to myself, well, there's one thing I have never fucking done. I have never been openly, truthfully, everything about Steven Cuoco myself publicly, because I was advised several times, don't do it. Don't do it. They're not ready for you. Don't do it. Not everyone likes to hear the truth. Don't do it. People may think you're confrontational. Don't do it. Don't do it. Well, what are they going to do? Throw the Bible at me? Because I already got a great relationship with the Lord. I'll catch the Bible and I'll read it. Go ahead and throw your Bible. Go ahead and do whatever. Because
Yeah.
let me tell you something, I'm not even scared being myself anymore. Why? To close by saying, there's too many straight men acting there more like a homosexual than the homosexuals acting like themselves. So you know what? I'm not scared to be Steven Cuoco in my home, in the gym, in my car, on radio, and on this show. And I want to say to you, thank you for you being you, and putting and for this opportunity to be on your show again, because this is the healing. This isn't just an interview. This is a healing even for me, because everything I've expressed and I've shared, I've been containing it, and I'm done containing.
Right.
I am at the best and most healthiest place. I just had my blood work done, Percy. My doctor was like, oh my God, 51 years old. I'm even proud of myself. No medication, no addiction, broke generational curses. And the only other thing that I want to be boom, 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 boom is to be able to be in a financial space and place that I've earned and acquired legitimately, and doing what I love most. And that's it. So now I'm stepping to the table, and everybody don't bitch and complain about it. Is anybody who wants to bitch and complain about anything at all, to go take it up with those who have a suit on, who claim that they're a Christian and a person of faith, and they're out there taking young men and young women, whether they're a teenager or not, making them look 12 or 13 years old, having them wear prostitute looking clothes, laying on a bed, on a stripper pole, all everything. Who was the girl that we saw playing a little schoolgirl on her knees on the floor looking up? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yep.
What did they hit her with? One more time? Every day. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. Look at Justin Bieber. I don't want to hear it anymore. Look at what happened to Liam Payne. I don't want to hear it anymore. I don't want to hear nothing anymore. I've already faced death several times. I'm not scared of death or living. I wake up every day ready to live, and I wake up every day ready to die because I'll be seeing my Lord. And that's the truth.
Amen to that. That's beautiful. That's a nice summary. And yeah, like you said, I love having you on because we do things differently. I'm all about entertainment and making people laugh and cry, but I think having these type of conversations people need to have, because we are at a time where seeing a Justin Bieber going through what he's going through is just another it's another celebrity. We're going to see another one. And I think having someone like you, and this is the most important thing. Yes, we could talk about your accolades. We could talk about who you've met, who you rub shoulders with, who you represent, who's your clients. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is, yeah, those are important. But what's important is, who are you? How did you get to that point? Because so many times we see the Tom Cruise on the red carpet, but we don't know who he is. We don't know him as a person. And I think for someone like you who is successful, who have, celebrity clients, who know celebrities, who's been in that space, like, yeah, the talk in town is, who do you know? But I think for me, it's not about who you know. It's about who are you, because you're the person. When I sit across, when I interview, I don't care if you know Dwayne The Rock Johnson. I don't care if you know Chris Hemsworth. I want to know, who are you, and how can people relate to you? And I think that's the best way to go about it, because if we go that way, it's all superficial. And that's the one thing I hate about LA. I've talked about it. I loved LA. I do. I would move there again down the line, but it's just very superficial. And me leaving LA kind of helped me grow, not only as an actor, but as a podcaster, because I started looking outside of just Steven. Who's your clients? Can you hook me up? And I would have done that before, but now I did the work, and I'm not going to do that, because I know that's not that's I'm coming from a place of, how can you benefit me, opposed to how can I learn from you? And that's what this podcast is about. It's about the fun, the jokes, and everything, but it's also about humanizing the person. And before we go, Steven, we've been on this for a little bit, but I have a new segment on the show, and we're gonna do it. It won't take long, but it's called the hot seat. So you said
really?
you're ready for, yeah. So
Okay.
you said we're ready for life. You're ready for life and even death, because you're gonna meet your maker. But are you ready for the hot seat? So the hot seat. What is the hot seat? So this is a little thing I've been doing, because I like to have a little fun, and it puts you in the spotlight. So usually I have a certain category I'm going with, but because we're both entertainers, I want to keep it in the entertainment industry. So I'm gonna give you two names. You don't have to give an explanation. You can say, hey, maybe I just like this one a little more, or whatever. But I'm gonna give you two names, and you got to choose. You could decline, but it makes it fun if you choose.
All
So
right.
if you're ready, I'm gonna do famous actors. I'm gonna give you two names, and you got to choose.
All
You
right.
ready?
Yes.
So Morgan Freeman or
Mhm.
Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, you gave me two incredible. Incredible. I love both of them. I do. I would represent them too. I think they're freaking
Yeah.
awesome. Denzel Washington or Samuel.
Morgan Freeman or
I mean,
Samuel L. Jackson?
Morgan Freeman and segment. Morgan Freeman. Oh God, Morgan Freeman. Oh God, one of my favorite movies. Oh my goodness. Morgan Freeman.
It says
Say it again.
Morgan Freeman or Samuel L. Jackson. It's tough.
All right, I'm going to objectively go in when I think about the body of work with Morgan Freeman and Samuel L. Jackson. I'm going to honestly say the person who I feel and believe that if one of them were my client and I had the opportunity to mentor and work with them, who do I believe would be the person that I would learn and grow with? And I'm going to say my first choice is Morgan Freeman.
Interesting. There's no right or wrong answer. There's no
No,
right
I
or
know.
wrong answer, but interesting.
Yeah,
All right.
Morgan Freeman, definitely.
So I'll
I feel
do.
like I can learn something. I believe I can learn. There's just something about him. I feel like I could just sit and absorb. Um, there's just so much more I believe that there is to him that we just don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Now,
But they're both phenomenal.
yeah, I mean, this is all fun. This is not
If I could
in
throw
no
a
way.
fucking wet pizza at you right now for giving me those, you could have picked Morgan Freeman and someone I would not have wanted to do.
It's the hot
I
seat.
mean, yeah, I mean, seriously, those two. I mean, you put two icons next to, come on.
Don't worry.
All
I'm
right,
gonna throw
go,
another one at you.
go.
All right, I got Jim Carrey or Robin Williams.
All right, this one's a bit easier. And I have my answer. I'm going to go with Jim Carrey. And the reason why I'm going with Jim Carrey is I enjoy his work and I respect the fact of where his intellect and knowledge is at when we think about science and and uh and knowledge, just everything that people have heard. I think he is, I don't just think, I feel and know for a fact in my heart that he is a person of such overwhelming knowledge and empowerment that he has been condensed into human form, that I just want him to explode his greatness and his knowledge and just talk. Like if anybody deserves to have a tour, like a TEDx tour,
Yeah,
it should be Jim Carrey. Because I'm going to tell you, I just think I enjoy how he came out and talking about, things. You know where I'm going with that?
yeah, yeah.
You know,
It was a yeah.
aliens
I
and
know
stuff.
exactly.
I love it. I love, and like, I don't know if we want to say aliens, but overall in all, he is the most intriguing for someone to be so infectiously comical and talented and to have these two different spheres of being fun and loving and inviting, yet this higher level of conscious being and power and empowerment. He's just phenomenal. That one was easier, but both are, Robin Williams, hands down. I just know that I just believe that my conversations with Jim Carrey would just last for hours, hours.
I could
Yeah.
agree with that. Yeah, I could agree with that. That's a tricky one for me. I have Robin Williams, but it's. I'll move on. I'll move on.
This is good. I
It's
like this. I'm glad you added this. You better stick with this in your show. I'm highly proud of you. I mean, look how you're helping me right now, and God's using you utilizing you. Do you know how much more or less scared I am Because I was thinking to myself, I'm not going, but I'm just thinking to myself, if I were to go and work with someone that is an OnlyFans, I'm thinking, I'm not worried about it. I just said this to Steve today, but I'm thinking, where am I going to break the ice about this?
Right.
And I did it today, and it helped me realize and feel like, how does this feel for me? So thank you. Go ahead. What's the
I
next one?
appreciate that. Well, I will say I'm different because I don't look for quick headlines, and I think that's
Oh, I
we go
want you
down
to
that rabbit hole. But
TMZ this. I
oh
want you to
yeah,
fucking TMZ all of this, but make sure you have the entire context, like the reason why I'm saying it. Don't be like, oh, and no one's really wondering, not knowing why I'm really doing that gesture or why I'm not really saying things.
yeah,
Just make sure you put the entire fucking context in there, because you did one promo and I'm thinking to myself, they don't understand. They're not going to understand what the fuck I was talking about.
yeah,
Cut it too short.
yeah. When it comes to social media, like for this one reason why I like doing the segment because it's fun, it lightens the mood, but it's easy to promote because it starts a conversation. It's fun. Nobody starts anything.
I adore you.
Sometimes, and truthfully, I've put conversations on Instagram or whatever, and it just it depends how people react. So for me, I try to, and I appreciate what you were doing when on the first episode because you was actually going in and taking parts out and actually promoting it. For me, I just figured like I see what goes viral, what looks nice, what gets people driving, and like this segment is such fun because like yeah, you can say Jim Carrey over Robin. And some people might say, "What? Really over Robin?" But it's fun. It's not good. Nobody's gonna look at you and say, "Look at this guy." So I do it just for the fun for both of us, where nobody chooses a side between you. Nobody says, "Oh, he said this controversial." And so we could talk off camera about it. But
Yeah. No, we're
let's
good. We're good.
continue.
No, we're good. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Let's.
I want fucking music the
I
next
gotta
time you do this.
copyright. That's the only thing. I used to do music. I go put it on Instagram, mute it. I can't use
Oh
it.
God. No. All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Give me the
Yeah.
next one. Come on. Come on.
All right. Matt Damon or Ben Affleck?
First, I'm going to say Matt Damon.
Yeah, Matt Damon. Let's do Al Pacino or Robert De Niro.
Oh, Al Pacino. Al Pacino. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sean Connery or Clint Eastwood?
I love. I'm going to have to go with Clint Eastwood.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. They're a little bit before my time, but
I know
that's
why,
fair.
but I'm not going to say it. I'm going with Clint Eastwood. Okay.
But you
What
know
you?
who is now? Michael B. Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think which one. You know what? Michael B. Jordan or Jonathan Majors.
I know who they are, but I really don't know. I'm gonna have to go with the first one, because I feel that I know more about that than the second person.
Yeah. I I was going to use Chadwick. That's why I paused. But I said, nah, he's passed. I don't want. I know some people going to be, depending on who you choose, they're going to be hitting my inbox like, excuse me? So, all right,
Mm.
that's fun. All right, Eddie Murphy or Martin Lawrence?
I'm gonna go with Eddie Murphy.
That's fair. George
Don't give me
Clooney.
that. George
No right or
Clooney.
wrong. George Clooney or Harrison Ford?
Oh, I'm gonna Harrison Ford.
Robert Downey Jr. or Nicolas Cage?
Robert Downey Jr.
Now, Tom Cruise or Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves.
Really? Okay.
Mhm.
No right or wrong answer. Now, here's the final one. Denzel Washington or Will Smith?
Denzel Washington, hands down. And I don't have a problem with Will Smith. I
Me
just don't
neither.
know if he would want to have a conversation with me or not. Not saying anything. I don't, I haven't done a psychological assessment on him at all. I think he and I just, my assessment is he's in control of being in control, basically what it would be. And I don't mind if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming or believing of how I've assessed him is that if I were to work with Will Smith or anything at all, I believe that I would need to constantly make sure that he understands and knows that my movement is first and foremost um, putting his movement first. So I don't know if I could be able to if he would allow me to stand side by side to have an equal sort of partnership or relationship, that I feel that I would have to always be the publicist, making sure to know that in our encounters, he's always before me as the talent. Where normally my everybody's side by side with me. So I don't know if we could have the type of relationship where we would be an equal. If I would have to be, if I would be that, let's say if I'm a publicist, but I don't know if I would be the assistant in the relationship or if I would be the publicist side by side with my client.
That's fair. That's fair. Will Smith
And I
is,
respect it.
yeah, he's amazing. Like that one always put, because that, me and my buddy, we always had that debate, and I love them both equally. It's just Denzel got me into acting, so I'm gonna be a little biased. I'll be first a minute. But Will Smith, if you hear this, don't think I'm turning down the interview. All right, I'm
I hope he
just
does
saying.
hear because I want him to give me a call.
Fair. Come on, Will.
Trust
Fresh,
me.
the Prince for fresh air. Come on,
The
Steven Cuoco.
industry would have its own story, and none of these actors would ever have to try to figure out how they're going to get into the news anymore. Because you take a publicist that's a journalist, put them together, and then also a publicist that's a journalist that's also an actor, that's a
Yeah,
radio host. You have three of the most powerful, amazing combos out there. And that worked in mental health. So it's all psychology. That's what I really want the industry to blow up about. Like, who the fuck is this guy? We have never seen this type or kind of person before. We have never seen someone who is very hetero, but yet works with
yeah,
people who are religiously committed to their religious beliefs and are so hetero dominant.
right.
Because I'm the one that's in the middle sometimes. I'm going to be honest. There were a couple times to where I did not represent, but I counseled and consulted on certain projects with the talent that is gay, and I was the middleman between the one that was gay and the one that was hetero that was controlling and running the thing. And trust me, hetero dominant Christian or men that are of faith, Mormons, Jewish, Christians in this business don't do well with a person that's loud in a homosexual way.
Yeah,
And there have been times I've come in to help not tame it or tone it down, but to be that buffer so it's not so loud in each other's faces, because people don't talk about it, but it's intrusive. It's extremely intrusive when you have those different polar opposites. No different than a woman trying to figure out how does she deal with this sexual deviance or sexual harassment on set. I mean, these things happen. They're never brought to light. This whole Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively thing.
yeah.
That's not the first and last. There are so many tall tale stories and things that are going on that will never come to light because there are so many NDAs and everything else that are signed, and people aren't going to do whatever. But this isn't news. This shit's going on even now, probably as we're doing this interview.
Yup. Yeah.
Once again, I'm here to just do what I love to do and to do my job. I just want to make a difference so that there's less casualty. Can we have less casualty in this business? In anywhere, everywhere, but especially here. I know what an asset I can be. Well, now I'm going in something different. Keep you posted. That's going to be for the next episode.
That's right. That's a good way to pause it. But just to capitalize on what you just said, I just hope and pray with every day, every episode, every conversation, we chip away at that. And I just hope some point in the future we just get to the industry of being just about art. I don't want it to be about Harvey and all this other nonsense that goes on. I just want to be an industry for you, me, future generations, where it's just about making movies, making art, and people can make a living and be able to live and sustain themselves, opposed to having to go through what a lot of, unfortunately, the older generation had to go through. But Steven, it's always a wonderful time. It's always a wonderful conversation with you. I usually end this podcast with my word, but I want to do something different. I'll have you leave it off. So, on behalf of me, thank you guys for tuning into another episode. I know it's been a while, but we are back. We're back stronger. Shout out to Steven for coming back on, because I know he's a busy man with his time. But like I always say, a helping hand is a better hand. Steven, I'll leave you the last word.
My last word would be one for you. Think of looking into and speaking to your representatives about finding 90s style content. Remember, like Friday, things like that, moves like that. That's the type of stuff I see you doing. That's the things that I'm thinking to myself as a publicist, what would I see you in? And not to be typecasting you. You would do perfectly well in 90s programs, TV shows, films. You can play a college kid. Like, there's just a lot of things that you can do. You've got the look, but we're not going to lie to say that you have a very specific look, and you are also a person of color. And unfortunately, within this business, it is very specific for roles that they look for. And it's made very clear, especially in casting, what color they look for and what sexual orientation they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I'm going to honestly say that if anybody thinks that if you are any other color but white and you are anything else but heterosexual, that it's going to be easy for you, please come out of the hole with or without Alice from her Wonderland. Lay off the hallucinogenics and the cult-like behavior and all of these other matter things and so on and so forth. Get to reality and know that I don't know if it's ever going to happen in my timeline or your timeline, but I do hope that one day people will cast for roles and have an open mind to go beyond color and sexual orientation, so that we all have a fair chance to do what we love. That's what I'm closing with. Getting in on all the action.
That's right. Getting into all the action. Catch us in the next episode. Stay tuned. We got a lot more coming. We got a lot more guests coming to the show. Steven, keep an eye on him. He's doing amazing things. Check out his Instagram. He's a wonderful guy, wonderful guest. We're going to have him on again. We're going to party. We're going to rock. We're going to roll. We'll see you in the next episode. We'll see you later.